1,000th of a second. Think about how fast that is. It is literally less than the blink of a human eye. It is the width of a razor blade traveling at nearly 180 miles per hour. But in the high-stakes world of the NASCAR Cup Series, that single thousandth of a second completely rearranged the chessboard for Sunday night's eero 400 at Chicagoland Speedway. Denny Hamlin is your pole sitter, throwing down a blistering lap of 30.296 seconds to barely edge out Kyle Larson's 30.297-second effort. It's Hamlin's fourth pole of the 2026 season, his third consecutive on an oval, and a historic milestone that breaks his tie with Ryan Newman for ninth on the all-time NASCAR pole list. But behind the celebratory fist pumps at Joe Gibbs Racing, a massive question is circulating through the Joliet garage. Is Denny Hamlin truly the favorite to win this race, or did a massive weather shift hand Toyota an artificial advantage that will evaporate over 400 miles on Sunday evening? To understand why this pole position has the garage talking, you have to understand the environment. NASCAR has not raced at Chicagoland Speedway since 2019. For the last 3 seasons, Chicago racing meant the tight concrete walls of the downtown street course. Returning to the traditional 1.5-mile D-shaped oval in Joliet means dealing with an aged, weathered, and viciously bumpy track surface that has never hosted the next-gen car. This track has multiple grooves. Drivers can rip the fence, wrap the bottom, or run the middle. But because it has been sitting under the harsh Illinois winters for years without a repave, it is incredibly temperature sensitive. And that is exactly where the qualifying drama began. Because Denny Hamlin had a rough outing last week at Sonoma, finishing 26th, the performance metrics forced him to go out very early in the final qualifying round. When the number 11 FedEx Toyota took to the track, the sky over Joliet offered a brief reprieve from the blazing afternoon sun. A pocket of heavy cloud cover rolled over the speedway, instantly dropping track surface temperatures by several degrees. Hamlin executed a flawless lap, hitting 178.241 miles per hour, but immediately after he returned to pit road, the clouds parted. The final 12 cars to take time had to deal with full, unyielding sun, baking the asphalt and robbing the track of critical sidebite. Hamlin himself was remarkably candid about it when speaking to the broadcast crew on pit road. He admitted that fortune played a massive role, stating, "We got very fortunate. The last 12 cars had full sun, 100% sun. Right after I went, the track definitely got hotter, and it seemed like the corner speeds of those guys started to slow down. I think if there was one more car behind Ty Gibbs when the shade briefly flashed back, they definitely would have beaten us." Despite the humble assessment, speed is speed. Joe Gibbs Racing worked overnight to dial in the mechanical grip needed to handle the severe bumps in Turn 2, and it paid off. But while Hamlin celebrated, his chief rival was dealing with an absolute nightmare through tech inspection. Kyle Larson missed the pole by 0.001 seconds, but his real problem started long before he even buckled his window net. The Hendrick Motorsports No. 5 Chevrolet failed pre-race laser inspection twice on Saturday morning. Under NASCAR's strict rulebook, failing twice triggers immediate penalties. Larson's team completely lost their pit stall selection privileges, and car chief Jesse Saunders was officially ejected from the racetrack for the remainder of the weekend. On a highly tactical intermediate track like Chicagoland, pit stall selection is massive. Green flag pit stops are virtually guaranteed here due to heavy tire degradation, and losing the ability to pick a stall with a clear opening can cost a driver 2 to 3 positions during a critical sequence. And Larson wasn't the only one hit hard. Spire Motorsports' Michael McAdell failed tech 4 times. He wasn't even allowed to qualify, meaning he will start dead last in 38th position and must serve a mandatory pass-through penalty under green on lap 1. Take a look at how the grid shakes out behind the front row. The top 10 is a fascinating mix of raw speed and heavy manufacturers battling for track position. Denny Hamlin starts first, followed by Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, Brad Keselowski, Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace, Chase Elliott, and William Byron wrapping up the top 10. Notice a trend there? Toyotas occupy 5 of the top 8 spots. The manufacturer's intermediate tracks package is working beautifully on the long, sweeping corners of Joliet. Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski put up a massive fight for Ford, showing immense short-run speed. But the data suggests that maintaining that speed over a long green flag run is a completely different animal. Let's dive into the telemetry and the long-run practice sheets, because this is where the favorite label for Denny Hamlin starts to get challenged. During the primary practice sessions, teams ran extended 15 and 20-lap simulation stints to see how the next-gen car behaves as the Goodyear tires wear down on the bumpy asphalt. While Denny's single-lap speed is undeniable, the long-run average charts tell a story of incredible consistency from Hendrick Motorsports. Kyle Larson logged the best consecutive 10-lap average of the entire field. Even on older tires, Larson's car maintained a stable platform through the bumpy progressive banking, whereas Hamlin's car showed a slightly steeper drop-off in speed after lap 12. Furthermore, Chase Elliott and William Byron both showed top 5 long-run pace despite qualifying 9th and 10th. Hendrick Motorsports appears to have set their cars specifically for the long haul, banking on the track widening out during the race and allowing their drivers to run the high line against the wall. The fan base is deeply divided heading into Sunday night. On platforms like Reddit and X, the sentiment surrounding Hamlin's pole is highly skeptical. Many fans feel that the early qualifying draw and cloud cover handed JGR a gift, pointing out that drivers who ran later in the session simply had no historical chance to match those early times. Simultaneously, there is an immense wave of anticipation for a straight-up battle between Hamlin and Larson. These two have built an incredible rivalry over the last few seasons, often finding themselves fighting for the same piece of real estate in the closing laps of intermediate races. With Larson starting directly to Hamlin's outside on the front row, the entry into Turn 1 on lap 1 is going to be incredibly tense. The championship stakes are reaching a boiling point. Denny Hamlin enters Chicagoland as the regular season points leader, holding a razor-thin 1-point margin over his 23 XII racing driver, Tyler Reddick. Reddick qualified a disappointing 13th, meaning Hamlin has a golden opportunity to maximize stage points early in the race and extend that cushion. But with Kyle Larson riding a wave of 5 top 5 finishes in his last 6 starts and desperate to break a 42-race winless streak that has haunted the number 5 team despite their incredible consistency, nobody expects Hendrick Motorsports to back down. Chicagoland Speedway has historically given us some of the most spectacular finishes in NASCAR history, from the iconic 2018 slide job battle between Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson to late-race pit strategy gambles that completely upended the field. Sunday night's eero 400 is shaping up to be a brutal physical test of machine and driver. Hamlin has the ultimate track position to start, but managing tire fall-off on this bumpy surface will dictate who actually stands in victory lane. What do you think? Is Denny Hamlin going to dominate from the pole? Or will Kyle Larson overcome his pit selection penalty to hunt down the number 11? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.